Hello everyone, and as always, I'll be your guide, Jizo. In today's entry of the Bestiary, we're going to look into a supernatural entity that goes by the moniker of Succubus. But before we go into detail about the origins of the Succubus, let's first discuss where the name came from. Originating from Late Latin, the original pronunciation of the name being Succuba or Succubere, which in Latin means to lie beneath. As you can see, the name given to this female entity establishes it as a very sexually dominant creature, with its name being used until the late 14th century, when it became common to refer to them as succubus instead. Now, let's talk about the origins of the succubus. According to mythology, the first succubus was supposedly a woman named Lilith, who was created by God for Adam, who due to not having a companion grew lonely in the Garden of Eden, but the two would soon get into constant fights, due to Lilith refusing to be submissive to Adam, even during intercourse. She stated that she refuses to lie beneath Adam during sex, and that she would only do so if Adam allowed her to be on top, due to her being the better creation compared to him, especially when it comes to intercourse. But this would only escalate the fight to the point where Lilith got fed up with her purpose in the garden, choosing to leave. But before leaving the garden, Lilith turned back, cursing all men and their creator before growing wings to flee the garden, leaving Adam to pray to God, telling him that Lilith had abandoned him. Due to Adam being God's first creation, he sided with him, sending 3 angels after Lilith with the intentions of bringing her back to the garden. Although not stated, it's believed that before the angels were able to track her down, Lilith had encountered Satan, who had made a deal with her to transform her into what we know today as a succubus. By the time the 3 angels tracked Lilith down, her mind was already set in stone. She refused to be returned to the garden, not wanting to be something made just to pleasure Adam. Lilith went back and forth with the angels, who in the end realized they were not strong enough to bring her back to the garden, or even for that matter, kill her. With this standstill, Lilith loudly stated to the angels, "I was created only to cause sickness to infants. If the infant is male, I have dominion over him for 8 days after his birth, and a female for 20 days. In hearing this, the angels still begged for her to return to the garden, but in response, Lilith made again a deal with the angels, with an exception to her previously stated rule, would be that if she saw that the newborn had an amulet of the names of the angels, which were Senoi, Sansonoi, and Semengaloth, around their neck, she would have no power over them, and in return for her freedom, she would allow exactly 100 of her own children to die every single day. After receiving a pardon from returning to the Garden of Eden, it is said Lilith then comes across the angel Samael, who together became the first succubus and incubus, the mother and father of all demons. Let's get into the appearance of a succubus, shall we? In today's culture, a succubus is more often than not thought of as a beautiful woman, far more beautiful than any woman you would ever come across, but this is false more or less. Back when the succubus were created, well through the medieval era, they were not known to have long legs, wavy hair, velvet soft skin, and a voice you would die for. As a matter of fact, it was quite the opposite. Succubi were known to be vile, hideous, and deformed creatures, these deformities ranging from being shorter than the average person of the time, having thin, claw-like feet attuned to raptors, having compact and withered faces that are gargoyles, and fingers that ended in sharp, ragged claws. Due to all of this, the succubi often chose to crawl to their victims instead of walk upright. Succubuses being so deformed may be explained again by their early origins. Succubus, as a matter of fact, most demons are infertile, leading to ulterior methods for how most of them produce offspring. The succubus's method being to sleep with a mortal man in order to take his semen, and then pass it on to her male counterpart, the incubus. Though not stated, in theory, it suggested somehow that the incubus then alters the semen given to him, then visits a human female to impregnate her, this entire process leading to children that are half human, half succubus, called cambions. Cambions have a few traits that set them apart from regular children. Firstly, that the child be born with a deformity ranging from an unusable arm, a club foot, or a face that isn't fully developed. They are also said to be thinner than the average child and require double if not triple the amount of milk a normal child would need to survive. It is said after the Cambion has matured enough that either the Cambion itself leaves or its parents come back to collect them, leading to the child disappearing from its supposed parents, never to be seen or heard from again, most likely growing up to repeat the same process that created it in the first place. It was only in the 16th century when the succubus appearance would be retconned. Instead of being a scaly, deformed, hunched-over creature, they would become a very attractive woman, and their deformities being replaced with the usual demon aesthetics, such as horns, bad wings, claws, and a pointed devil's tail. Now you all might be wondering, how exactly does a succubus or incubus end up in someone's bedroom without getting caught? Well, the thing is, succubuses being demons, they are said to be astral beings as they come to mortal men in their dreams, most of the time appearing as whatever that person deems as a beautiful woman. Also, as funny as it might sound, in some cases it is said that not all succubus are evil, and that they do not have intercourse with the sole purpose of draining the life force from a man to prolong their own life. It's mentioned that some succubus even have the potential to fall in love with some of their victims, opting to give them anything they would want in life, such as riches, status, and even how to avoid death, under one condition, that the man is faithful to her and no one else. This can be seen in the legend of Pope Sylvester II and Midriano. The succubus, where Pope Sylvester in his deathbed admitted that how he climbed the ranks of the Catholic Church in such a short time was due to help from a succubus. The story goes, as a young man he came upon a woman named Midriana, who he later found out was a succubus. After learning about her true form, she promised him anything in the world he could ever desire, such as wealth, good luck, status, and knowledge any scholar would beg on their hands and knees for. In return, there was one condition, that he would have to be faithful to her forever. Thanks to the help of this demon, Sylvester quickly rose to the rank of Pope, but due to the vows that this position came with, his relationship with Midriana remained a secret until his death, most claiming that he had summoned the demon out of greed for power, or that he had genuinely found love in someone who happened to be a succubus. However, Pope Sylvester II wouldn't be the last person who claimed to have interacted with the succubus. Many people over the course of history and even today believe that this creature is still out there, entering the dreams of men and women alike. Whether this is true or not, I leave that up to you. Hello everyone, Jizo here. As always, I put a few thoughts of mine at the end of every video. Me personally, I don't believe that succubi actually exist, just due to the fact that the name given to this demon refers to any kind of demon that would have intercourse with a mortal, along with the fact that most of what makes a succubus can be explained away by looking deeper into them. One explanation being that nocturnal emissions happening while dreaming. I believe that most think it is something supernatural due to us experiencing two of the most powerful things we can think of. Those two things being a deep state of dreaming and sexual release. There was even a study done by Jan Dirk Bloom, a professor of clinical psychopathology, which is the study of abnormal cognitions, behavior, and experiences, where these so-called succubus attacks usually, and if not only, happens due to sleep paralysis. As some of you might know, to put it in a simple way, sleep paralysis is basically just when you're in a state of waking up, but you're still in deep sleep. So this sometimes, or most times, causes you hallucinations. That combined with nocturnal emissions is why I think people confuse this for a demon coming to them in their dreams. But enough for me talking. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. The next one is going to come out whenever it comes out. I don't have a schedule, but I hope that you'll be there for it. So remember guys, stay curious.